Greetings. Today, normalization of data in employee table, and it's actually separating it into two tables. Let's get into it. So as you remember, we have employees, and it's all in one table called employees. But if we take a look at the structure of the data, let's pick this one, you can actually see that this part is fully repetitive. Basically, name, last name, birthday, and join date, it's the same actual employee. But then it has data for different years, 2013 to 2022. So it's better to separate this big table, clunky table, into two tables. So that one holds information about employee and one about its data per year. Why it is better? One of the instances is that someone can try and modify one of these records, but forget to modify another one, rename last name. And then we will have two sources of records, and it's not clear which one is correct. Another example is if we try to add more information about employee, like his address, we would have to add it to all of these 10 records. Not efficient. We actually want to add it to only one record. That would be a breaking of the core principle, don't repeat yourself. Let's separate it in two tables. First of all, employee context and employee model. So I'll create a new class. We will call it, actually, employee model. Let's rename this. This looks more like employee data model. And let's add another. Employee model. In employee model, I'll have only this. And I will actually add key, auto-generated key as well, to avoid unpleasant stuff. Employee ID would be key. Tax ID name, last name, birthday, join. Great. Employee data model has it. Good. Now to context. This is not employees, but employee there. And we need one more property. That employee model. And it's saying because it's internal, public. Employee configuration. So this is employee, should be renamed to employee data configuration. Now, what is the index here? Here in employee data model, we would like to have a thing called foreign key, which means a reference to employee table. So each employee data record will know about its employee. That is done by adding property, which we will have a reference to primary key to employee ID. Employee ID. Good. Back to configuration, index on employee ID. And we need to add a configuration for employee as employee configuration. It will be a configuration of type employee model. Finding it. No. Implementing interface. This implementation looks strange. Good. And configuring. I'd like to have index on method for the employee itself. And we also would like to specify the relationship between the tables. We have one-to-many relationship, which means one employee model has many employee data. We can specify it here. List employee data model. Employee data. And going back to configuration, we can specify it in the builder, which will automatically give us foreign key constraint. Many data. Like to specify with backwards relationships with one. Here I would need to go to employee data model and have a property back towards employee model. Employee model. Come back was one. Each has a employee key, principal key, employee ID. That looks good. Okay, now this configuration we need to use it as well. Employee configuration. Great. Now what is left? Fixing code and doing all of this stuff. All right. Now let's check what is broken. Okay. So now the previous stuff comes up. We have been using employee data model as well as entity framework model and CSV model. It's not the case. Now we will have separate two models in our entity framework, in our database, but input file will still be only one big file. So let's do the following. Let's create a CSV model, employee data CSV model. And it should be exactly as the file was before. That means checks this employee data model, grabs these properties. Okay. data CSV model. Now let's go back to errors. Generation, the data generation should generate actually CSV, since we want to CSV right byte array. This one will be a CSV, this will be a CSV class map. Okay, and here then generate CSV model, now cloning. Actually, it belongs to CSV model. Good. This is fixed. Way less errors now. All right. Here, the manager and class. Fun begins. Let's go one by one. There'll be a lot of work here. First of all, get URL sound file. This was a file that we are presenting back to the manager, which contains data as it was inputted in CSV, plus the calculated sum. So what do we want to do? Yes, we want to write employee data. This is the main data. But then we want to make this method generic. This one is used from two places now, more than two. It's used both from data generator, which generates pure data CSV model. Also, it can be used by our main code. So we would like to be able to pass to any parameter of a type. So let's put type parameter t. Here is t and t. And this should be compilable. Going back to the usage of this method. As you can see now, it works. However, you would need a proper map class, because employee data model now contains this data and a reference to employee. Let's check what this mappings do. It's class of employee data model. Easiest way to fix it would be to actually write just one method which would take as an input a list of employee data models and return as an output employee data CSV model. And we could do that. Basically, after that, all of this mappings, class maps, will work as they are working right now. Okay, so let's write a method here. Return us a list of employee data CSV models. And what it actually does, it goes through iterate. And create a CSV model. Actually, let's try approach of mapping. So basically map, we can actually create ID to model. Yeah, we have a reference to employee, which we had added as a foreign key. We can add it like this. All of these properties. Now I'm taking employee. Looks good, and we have another one more map, employee name earning map. Again, same trick, taking this data from employee. Good. What else do we have? Employee tax ID equals something. Okay. Well, now we have solution building. That's quite refactoring, and I will pause here, but it will require much more testing and actually running. But we have unit tests, we have integration tests, so I'm confident that once I finish all the refactoring and I test it, it will work and will produce exactly the same outputs as before. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the part 2.